everyone. Lisa Haven here. And I've got a report today that I just kind of want to throw out there to you guys, and I think you should be aware of it. And that is this: 10 countries, including the IMF, have just conducted a very alarming simulation. Just what is this simulation? Well, how about simulating a global financial system collapse? And the only reason you would do that is if, well, you think that's potentially something that could happen. Now, before I get into the report, just a quick break. Do you feel uncertain about the future, especially with the holidays closing in on us? You're wondering if there's anything that you can do to protect your friends, your family members, and your loved ones from these food shortages brought to us by the Biden administration? Well, there definitely is. You see, my friends at My Patriot Food Supply actually specialize in emergency food storage. In fact, their food has a 25-year shelf life. And on top of that, they are America's #1 preparedness company. And they are packed with huge amounts of well-stocked food that you absolutely need. Other companies have actually ran out of almost everything that they sell because they themselves did not prepare for what's going on in the world today. That is not the case with My Patriot Supply at preparewithlisa.com. They are absolutely prepared. My Patriot Supply walks the walk, and it is a company that you can trust. And right now, you can get $100 off their 3-month food supply plan. This kit has enough food to get you through the difficult times ahead. All you have to do is go to preparewithlisa.com, and it is there that you can find all these amazing limited time offers. And as you can see, some of the kits include foods, everything ranging from rice to mac and cheese to drinks. It's a little bit of everything. Now, if you want something in the shorter term, they also have a 4-week emergency food supply kit available as well. But I highly, highly encourage you to check out that 3-month food supply offer. But get it now, right now at preparewithlisa.com and take advantage of the $100 off the 3-month food supply. Prepare you and your family for what's coming to the United States of America and what's already arrived with these food shortages. Get to preparewithlisa.com. All right, back to the broadcast. So let's dive into this global financial collapse simulation that was done by countries all across the globe, including the IMF and even the World Bank. Now, check out this first article here, and I found this on zerohedge.com originally. It says IMF, World Bank, and 10 countries held alarming simulation of global financial system collapse. Now, they reference a Reuters article in this report, so I'm going to take you straight to the Reuters article because I want you to see it directly from the first people that dropped it. But here it is, exclusive. IMF and 10 countries simulate cyber attack on global financial system. It goes on to say this: Israel on Thursday led a 10-country simulation of a major cyber attack on the global financial system in attempt to increase cooperation that could help to minimize any potential damage to financial markets and banks. The simulation, quote, war game, as Israel's finance minister called it, and planned over the past year, evolved over 10 days, with sensitive data emerging on the dark web. The simulation also used fake news reports that in the scenario caused chaos in global markets and even a run on the banks. The simulation, likely caused by what officials called sophisticated players, featured several types of attacks that impacted global foreign exchange and bond markets, liquidity, integrity of data, and transaction between importers and exporters. Now, the article goes on to name who was involved in this, and it says this, and I quote, participants in the initiative called Collective Strength included Treasury officials from Israel, the United States, the United Kingdom, United Arab Emirates, Australia, Switzerland, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Thailand, as well as representatives from the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and Bank of International Settlements. Now, I'm just going to pause for 1 minute because this is a joint effort between countries and a lot of Western countries here and your globalist world banks who push, well, the international agenda. But it goes on to conclude what they responded or how they responded. And it says this. It says the participants discussed multilateral policies to respond to the crisis, including a coordinated bank holiday, debt repayment grace periods, swap repo agreements, and coordinated delinking from major currencies. So there you have it. And the question that really lingers in my mind is, why are they having this simulation now? Why are only certain countries involved? And why are they doing this jointly with the IMF and the banks? What is the real agenda behind this? And what is the possibility of something like that going down? Now, these would be good questions if our government were actually being honest with the American people, but I digress. We're likely not going to get these answers. But bottom line here is, they're not going to be running simulations unless this is an actual scenario. And apparently, if there was some kind of collapse of that nature, it's going to be a global response. And I can't help but think cashless society could be the answer. And we know that's in Bible prophecy. And we know groups like the Bilderberg, the World Economic Forum have all been talking about cashless society for years. This is part of the agenda. Take a look, as a reminder, at the World Economic Forum, the benefits, they say, of a cashless society. Now, this was published in 2020, but they're always talking about how we should go to this cashless society. The only reason well, this would not be good, in my opinion. I don't think we should ever go cashless society, but the benefits would absolutely be huge for only the globalist elite and the governments of the world, because then everything is tracked and it's all done electronically. There is no room for error, so to speak, forever. Amen. This would be a nightmare for the American people and even for the globe, right? Meanwhile, talking about problems in our economic system, we've got so many problems right now that people all across the globe are screaming for help because inflation is out of control. We have shipping crisis underway in here in America and abroad. It's hitting all of us. We have these lockdowns and mandates and measures, especially internationally, where they're locking down entire societies, entire states and cities. These are having major repercussions on our economy, and not just in the country it's happening in, but all across the globe. And here's some of the things here in the U.S., right? We have the Epic Times, U.S. inflation highest among OECD countries. Global debt hits record $226 trillion. And then we have Bloomberg, inflation, virus, war. What market professionals fear most for 2022? And you know what they fear most? Well, let me read this little section. The biggest risks for markets in 2022 are inflation, COVID, and geopolitical tensions, according to some 700 respondents to Market Live Global Survey. More than 30% cited inflation as among their biggest worries. When asked, what do you see as the biggest tailing risk for markets in 2022, and what probability do you put on that transpiring? Respondents often tied the risk of higher inflation to central banks either falling behind the curve or tightening up too quickly. So obviously, this is a huge threat. Our economy is moving up. It's one of the number one issues that I think we need to start paying attention to. And then we have this marketplace. Inflation is a global problem. As I said, this is happening all across the globe. And as the World Economic Forum and these globalists are pushing for it, they want a cashless society. And I fear that could be ahead in our very near future. Unfortunately, mark my words, I see that is definitely going to be an agenda on the horizon. The Bilderbergs have been talking about it. The elite have been talking about it. A lot of them have been sharing their threats, and it's not something we want. That would be the major step into a globalist communist system. That's what I believe it would be. Anyhow, I wanted to bring you the latest on what's going on because these 10 countries teaming up with the IMF, with your globalist world banks, and all of them working together to do these simulated things. And if they are, we're talking about countries right now that are massively restricting their people with COVID-19. These are the countries we're teaming up with in the event of a global collapse. What would be on the table for such a collapse if we're joining with countries who are massively segregating unvaccinated people and massively locking down their populations? It's a good question, and it's not something we need to handle it. However, in what form would that look like? And unfortunately, I don't see that as a good path at this time, but we've got to get the right people in 2022 and get the right people elected into office. Anyhow, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. They've been removing people en masse. Please make sure you are still subscribed. Please also make sure you have that bell checked because right now they are unchecking the bell and unsubscribing people from the bell. So please check that out. Anyhow, I love all of you. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.